Chris Sewall here, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, in that order. Welcome everyone. Adventures in card dealing story time today. This actually happened just last week. It was a large purchase I made from somebody locally who wanted to remain anonymous, so we're going to call him T. But yeah, very impressive collection, very, very unique. And in this video, we'll go over, what was included in the collection, how the negotiation went, what I paid, and ultimately what I sort of expect to get out of it. Now, T and I had done a deal before, maybe 2 years ago or so. So we were familiar with each other, but this time he wanted to sell everything. Like, he was ready to move on from everything, getting ready to sort of downsize and things like this. So it was a very, very bulky collection, and it was just sort of time for him to move on. So he gave me a call. I drove down. It was only about a 30-minute drive from where I live currently. So that was all very convenient. And yeah, I got to his house sort of in the early afternoon. The collection was maybe 100,000 cards, maybe a little more than that. This photo probably represents about a third of it, quantity-wise. And it was really from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, but really more like the late 70s through the early 90s, which at first, sounds like junk wax era. But all the pure commons like 891 Fleer or 88 Tops, that had all been discarded and was not included. There was some junk wax era sets with very, very little value, and a lot of bulk with very little value, but nothing with like no value. All the stuff with truly no value had already been discarded at some point. I'll run through some of the stuff that was included and save the best for the end. But there were a bunch of complete sets from the early 80s, like 80 through 85 for the most part. These are all those. Mainly baseball with a little bit of football, but there's some nicer sets in here. A couple 81 Tops football with the Joe Montana rookie. Here's the 84 Tops football and 82 Tops baseball, 89 Upper Deck baseball sealed, 84 Donruss factory sealed set on the top, which is a nice set there. But yeah, a lot of factory sealed, or not factory sealed, a lot of complete sets, mostly hand collated with a couple factory sets from the early 80s. There was also quite a few sets from the late 80s, early 90s, more junk wax era. Not a lot of value here. I'll probably bulk sell most of these for a few dollars a piece to a local dealer. Same thing with wax. There was not a lot of wax, but there was some unopened wax from the late 80s, early 90s. You can see 91 Ultra baseball, football, 91 Upper Deck football, things like that. Not tremendous value here, but hundreds of dollars worth of unopened wax. There were multiple 5-row boxes of basically 1970s, really late 1970s, and not in the greatest condition, sort of maybe VG on average. This box even shows some earlier than 1960s. You see a Willie Mays 58 Tops All-Star on the left, but mainly it was from like the late 70s, and again, multiple 5-row boxes. A 5-row box holds about 5,000 cards if it's completely full. But yeah, multiple 5-row boxes of late 70s cards, mostly commons. There were a lot of star player lots. This is all Ken Griffey Jr., 189 Donruss on the left, and maybe 290 Tops, 291 Tops, 292 Tops, etc. All stacks of Ken Griffey Jr. cards from those years. And there was a lot of this type of thing. Like this one row alone has, basically 1,000 1988 Tops Barry Bonds, second year Barry Bonds, and it gives you a sense for how over, mass-produced the junk wax era was here. But yeah, there was many, many 5-row boxes full of this sort of thing. Mostly stars, the Barry Bonds and the Ken Griffey Jr.'s, other Hall of Famers like Tom Glavine and Frank Thomas and Cal Ripken, down to some lesser players like Mike Greenwell and Ellis Burks. And in that same category, in one of the more amazing accumulations I've ever seen, after I had condensed it, there were close to 7 full 5-row boxes of nothing but Roger Clemens cards, what you see here. And most of them were sorted into stacks of 50, but not all of them. Here's a bunch of 1989 Tops, multiple thousand copies of 1989 Tops Roger Clemens. Here's a 50 count of 89 Tops Roger Clemens. Here's a 50 count of 1989 Score Roger Clemens, a 50 count of 1990 Score. Just an amazing accumulation. 89 more 89 Tops, some 1990 Tops stacked in again into groups of 50. This entire box is all 89 Tops, the entire box, and each of these is a group of 50 1989 Tops Roger Clemens. Obviously not an expensive card, and again, it gives you a sense for how crazily overproduced the junk wax era was. All in all, there was roughly 30,000 Roger Clemens cards, maybe a little bit more than that, all ranging from 1987 up to 1991. There were lots of other items. I won't have time to go through them all here, but there was 2 Mickey Mantle 8x10 autographed 8x10s. They were JSA certified. Really nice clean autographs. But the majority of the value was in this one box. And T knew what he was doing. He had separated most of the most valuable cards and put them into this one box, which actually, made my life a lot easier in terms of evaluating the collection. You can see 189 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. rookies. I think I showed those already, but There were two Michael Jordan rookies, 1986 Fleer. There was a PSA 5 and a PSA 7. I was looking these over. I actually thought they were pretty comparable in terms of the condition. I couldn't really tell why one would be 2 grades higher. The 7 actually has more off centering on the back, but maybe the 5 had slightly more tipped corners. But regardless, the 5 sells for about $3,000 or so, and the PSA 7 sells for about $5,000 or so. So those were the two most valuable cards in the collection by far. There was 1986 Fleer stickers complete set, and it was sort of unfortunate because it's an extremely sharp set. You can see the Jordan right in front. But they all had wax stains on the back, and I'm not sure if you can see them in the video here, but they all have wax stains in the back, so they would not grade high. They would get an ST qualifier from PSA, but otherwise really sharp looking cards. 82 tops traded my boy Cal Ripken Jr. rookie was real sharp. Some nice 70s stuff, and a lot of these cards are sort of nicer grade. Here's 3 Steve Garvey rookies from 1971, and some George Brett rookies from 1975. And yeah, there's going to be cards to... Well, I'll get into the grading aspect of this a little bit later. Some Cal Ripken rookies, a couple of Fleer rookies from 82, a couple of donruss rookies, 2 84 donruss Don Mattingly rookies, a bunch of 89 Upper Deck Griffey rookies. I think there were 6 in this box here at least. There was another one in the factory saw earlier. And more 1970s stuff. It's a mix of, mainly baseball, but there's football and basketball as well. There's a 1970 Topps Thurman Munson rookie. That's, pretty sharp. 1970, this card's really sharp. 1970 Nolan Ryan's 3rd year. And that one will definitely need to get graded. A bunch of Nolan Ryans from sort of the mid to late, early to mid 70s. 391 Upper Deck Michael Jordan baseball cards, his first baseball card. It's an SP. There's something like, I don't know, 150 or 200 Roger Clemens rookies, all from 1985, continuing with the Roger Clemens, accumulation theme. But yeah, here's like 50 1985 Topps Roger Clemens rookies. And this is like a $5 to $10 card raw. And, it's worth grading if you have a chance at a 9 or a 10. Probably there aren't very many of those copies that would be, grade worthy in that sense. Like they're likely to get a 9 or a 10. So most of the cards in this box do not really present a whole lot of grading opportunities. They're just like slightly too low, but there definitely be some that I'll pull out for grading for sure. Ken Stabler rookie, Lynn Swann rookie, Dan Fouts rookie, Lynn Swann 2nd year, Walter Payton 2nd year, Tony Dorsett rookie, Jim McMahon rookie, John Elway rookie, some Eric Dickerson rookies from 1984, a lot of key Hall of Fame football players rookies cards here, 3 Warren Moon rookies, Bruce Smith, Bo Jackson, 289 score, Barry Sanders. So yeah, some nice football stuff from the 70s and 80s as well. And some nice basketball cards from the 80s. Heavy on Michael Jordan, which is a good one to be heavy on. But a couple of Larry Bird 1980 first-year cards in front. Karl Malone 86 Fleer. Charles Barkley 86 Fleer. Some 2nd-year Jordans, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them from 87 Fleer. 3rd-year Jordans from 88 Fleer. Something like 10 of them there. Reggie Miller rookie. Dennis Rodman rookie. Scottie Pippen rookie. And some 4th-year Jordans from 89 Fleer, maybe, 15 of them or so. And a bunch of those are really nice condition, so definitely some of the Jordans in particular will need to be sent off for grading. In terms of what I offered for the collection, this was the notepad I used to keep track, and it was split into 6 categories, and T had actually separated into those 6 categories kind of before I got there, which was actually very helpful. Again, sort of made the whole process a little easier. But the first 5 categories were basically the bulk categories, and then the 6th category was that one expensive box I showed there at the end. So the 5 bulk categories were 70s, 80s commons, which I offered 400 on. There was 70s and 80s stars had sort of been separated into a few boxes. I don't think I showed that in the video at all, but 1,700 on that. The Clemens, just the Roger Clemens collection, 1,600 on that. I had sort of estimated roughly around 30,000 cards, so it's basically 5 cents a card. And I'll hope to get about 10 cents a card or so on eBay in lots. The sets and knickknacks totaled $2,000 as my offer, and then there was this miscellaneous section which I offered $850. So on the 5 bulk categories total, offered $6,500. For the top box, I offered $16,500. That was for the entire box I showed there at the end, and that meant my total offer for everything was $23,050. So I made that offer to T, $23,000, and he's I don't know if he expected more or if he was just negotiating for more, but we went back and forth a little bit, and when I had was doing my notes, I decided I was going to offer $23,000, and the max I would come up to is $25,000, or the max I really wanted to come up to was $25,000. But yeah, he got me to come up to $26,000, so good for him. A little higher than I wanted to pay, but you know, close enough. And yeah, we shook hands on it, and we were both happy with the deal. I had a little bit of cash on me, so I gave him the cash that I had, but you know, paid the rest via PayPal, friends and family, right there on the spot. We loaded up my car, which actually took quite a while because we had to go up a flight of steps, and then it barely fit in my car. Like there was no room left. I folded back down the back seats and put everything in the trunk and back seat area, and then filled up the entire passenger seat and had, you know, cards underneath my feet. I actually wish I had taken a picture. I don't know why I didn't take a picture of it because it's a funny sight. But yeah, just barely made it, shoving everything into my car. In terms of what I'm projecting the deal to look like from my end, here it is. The purchase price was $26,000, and there are realistically no other costs associated with the purchase. You know, I drove 30 minutes each way, so I could put $20 for gas or something like that. But basically, no other costs besides the purchase price. I would expect it to take me about 5 days of full-time work, spread out over, you know, a few weeks or even months, in terms of sorting everything, getting things shipped out, getting things listed, and shipping things off when they sell down the road. So I'm calling it 5 days of full-time work spread out over time. And I expect to sell through everything within about 6 months. Some of the bulky items will take quite a while probably to move, but yeah, 6 months or so before I've, you know, sold through everything. In terms of projected money in, on the 5 bulk categories, which I essentially paid $7,000 for after the negotiation, I'm expecting to sell that for about double. That's before seller fee, so $14,000 out of that. And on the top box, the box there at the end with all the good cards, I essentially paid $19,000 for that. Again, after the negotiation, and that's a tough one to estimate. I'm sort of estimating that I'll sell that for about $26,000. Again, before fees. So total money in before fees will be about $40,000, or at least that's what I'm projecting. We'll call seller fees 15%, whether that's on eBay or other platforms. So minus $6,000. So total money in after seller fees, after all is said and done, I'm projecting $34,000. And that would give me a total profit of about $8,000, which, yeah, is about what I'm expecting. I didn't factor in any grading fees on here. There'll probably be about 50 cards to grade or so, all cards from the top box. And so maybe there's, you know, $1,000 in grading fees, which I sort of, you know, considered in the money in category. Sort of took it out of there. So, you know, I don't think that will impact the numbers here. But at some point down the road, I'll do a follow-up to this video, and after everything's sold through, and see how we did, and see how close my projections were. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. But that's it. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you to T for selling me your very impressive collection. Hope everybody enjoyed, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. And yeah, until next time, eat your vegetables and have a great rest of your day. Thanks everyone.